Guys, what is happening, everybody? All right, hanging out with the Kawasaki Z900RS Cafe. And we are now rocking the Bridgestone S22s. I want to talk to you guys about these tires on this motorcycle because it is a match made in heaven. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you right now, as you can see, we're already rubbing off the S22 that's stamped into those tires. Yeah, I'd say we're already getting this bike over, and I got to tell you, it is an absolute dream to ride now. Let's chat about it. Okay, guys, so if you've got one of these motorcycles, chances are you've already discovered that the factory rubber is really not that great, or at least I should say it's not very confidence inspiring, especially if you're riding the motorcycle spirited in any way. Now, it's okay if you're just cruising around, playing around on boulevards, but the minute you start getting a little bit more serious, those tires will start to show their shortcomings. And this is pretty normal, at least with a motorcycle like the Z900RS. It's not a hyper sports bike. It really is more of a, well, it's a hyper naked junior, if you will. It's a pretty high performance bike, but it's not a motorcycle that you would consider a track oriented type of a machine. And as such, it just doesn't come with rubber that would accommodate that. Although the DNA of this motorcycle is of a sport naked motorcycle, and it handles really well if only given the opportunity with suspension tuning and with a better tire. And I am very happy to report that with the Bridgestone S22s, God, it's like a match made in heaven for this bike, where before getting the bike over on its side would be easy enough and the bike would remain stable enough with the stock rubber, but the minute you started to roll in, coal up a little bit, if you will, the bike would start to get a little bit out of sorts. Now with these S22s and with their, well, the next generation, the S23s, I can only assume would at least be as good as these tires. This bike absolutely rips, and it will hold a line like nobody's business. It's like it's absolutely glued to the road. So the overall confidence that I have now with this motorcycle is significantly improved upon. The high-speed stability is absolutely outstanding as well. One of the things about tires that most guys will tend to focus on is how the bike feels as you're transitioning or going into a bend. But also the straight line performance, the way that the motorcycle will hold a line and not transmit any weird undulations in the road through the chassis or through the handlebars. That's something that these tires do an extremely good job of. They're extremely stable, whether you're straight up and down or on the side of the tire. No doubt due to that compound setup that these tires have, but more to the point, the compound itself is just so good and so confidence inspiring that it's now real easy for me to get this motorcycle onto the full side of the tire while accelerating and attacking apexes now, which kind of lead me to a little bit of a fun story while I was testing out these tires. It seemed that I attracted the attention of a couple of different local law enforcement authorities, and after what I can only assume was a fairly exciting trip to meet my acquaintance, it seemed like they were very excited to meet me too. In fact, they came making a bunch of noise like sirens and lights and things. Yeah, I was having just a little bit too much fun, and I was reminded that I am on public roads, and if I could keep it cool, that would be really nice. The guys were really good, and they basically gave me a stern talking to and let me on. But the fact remains that I wouldn't have been putting myself in those positions if I had the stock rubber on the bike. So guys, if you've got one of these motorcycles and you're starting to find yourself a bit more confident in your riding skill set with the motorcycle, but don't really have the confidence, I can tell you with no doubts and with no reservations whatsoever that if you decide to put a new set of rubber on the bike, go with a set of Bridgestone S22s if you can still get them, or the next generation is the S23, an amazing tire for this bike. Now, I am running the stock size, so 180, 55 out back, 120, 70 up front, and the pressures that I'm running are 36 6 front, 38 rear. That's what the bike seemed to like. That's where I had really set the other tires up to. I figured I would try them out with this bike, and it absolutely loved it. And again, I cannot say enough good things about these tires with this bike. So post up your comments. Let me know if you have tried a different set of tires on your Z900RS Cafe or regular RS. How did they work out for you? That's a wrap. Adios.